I'm grateful for staying with us here on the show. This is News Flash here on Prime Morning. Is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise, still phones, Papa Pafie, and that's the best place you can always get your gadget. If you're looking for phones, Nokia, Samsung, iPhone, the best place you can always go is Franco Trading Enterprise. And also your CCTV cameras, you can monitor your homes and your office when you're not around. All you have to do is to just download the app on your phone, and anywhere, anytime, you can monitor to see what is happening over there. Now, your television screens, the biggest you can get, you can definitely find them at Franco Trading Enterprise. And if you need a microwave, if you're looking for anything home appliance, it has to be Franco Trading Enterprise. And you can give us a call on the numbers you see on your screens and speak to us. Please do not pick any number on social media. Just call the numbers that you're seeing on your screen. That's a caution for you. But you can also download the app. It's Google Play Store. When you type Franco Trading app, you're going to get the app, and then you have Franco Trading Enterprise in your hands. Now, website is www.francotrading.com, and that's what you can actually also do if you need more updates on that. Now, just gone by, you saw the President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, speaking on the update of what exactly is looking like in terms of the fight against illegal mining, Galamsey, and also you had the convener for the coalition against illegal mining, Engineer Kenashibe, also speaking on some updates on what exactly they intend to do and what they want the president to actually do in the fight against Galamsey. Now, over the period, we've had conversations around the LI 2462 and why we need to repeal that law. Now, that law was enacted in 2022, and it was supposed to give not really opportunity, but a chance to people who want to mine in forest reserve. Now, as much as they actually came to overrode the banning on illegal mining, a lot of people believe that some of the things that were stipulated in there that made that enactment possible were not adhered to, and that's the reason why we're experiencing what we're experiencing right now in our water bodies. And so there's been the need and the call for that, LI 2462 to be repealed. But are we going to see that? There has also been the issue of a state of emergency, which we've been talking about. Our colleague over here at the Multimedia Group, Erastus, has been going about it. He's been bringing facts after facts, details after details of how we're destroying our water bodies with illegal mining, but the situation still stays the same. We're going to be looking at that this morning here on the show. We want you to also join us and share your thought with us. Our WhatsApp line is active. You can send your messages over there, and you can also do so on Facebook. We're streaming live on Facebook. This morning I'll be joined by very distinguished young men who have been doing their best with the issues of what concerns the nation. Join me over here for us to get interactive. So you can also send your messages, and we're definitely going to be taking a look at that. We're grateful to Franco Trading Enterprise, still phones, Papa Pafie. Newsflash is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Now, I've got a couple of the newspapers over here, so I'm going to run through them real quick, and then I introduce my guest in the studio. Then we can continue with the conversation. So I'll start off with the Daily Graphic. And on the front page of Daily Graphic, it says, Africa needs more internal trade. Ken Mswati spouses at Ghana visit. And as you already know, the king of Eswatini is actually in Ghana. Now, it's formerly known as Swaziland. And you know there's difference between Switzerland and Swaziland. Now, it was formerly called Swaziland, but it's now changed to Eswatini. The king is in town. He's got about 15 wives and about 45 children. And he's actually paying a courtesy call on His Majesty, the Royal Majesty Otumfuo. So he's currently in Kumasi. He spent some time with the president here in Accra before moving to Kumasi to meet the king of the Asante Kingdom. And so, yes, Kumasi right now, there's so much going on over there. And there's a bit of history as to why he has the 15 wives and all of that. I'll tell you about it sometime, but it's a very interesting story. It's a very interesting story. I mean, 15 wives. And the thing is that you don't even, if you're an ordinary citizen in Eswatini, you don't look at the face of if you see any of the wives coming, you have to turn your face around or you have to cover your face. You have no power to actually see face to face any of his wives. And if any of his wives want to send a message to him, they do through the children. The children had to send a message to him. So, I mean, it's a very interesting culture. I like it. Like, I love it like that. I don't know about Senyo. I don't know about Senyo, but I've been very fascinated about this. Anyway, Parliament approves President's 7 nominees to Supreme Court. And yesterday was another drama in the House of Parliament during the approval of the 7 Supreme Court justices. And you can see that the minority had to, do their own thing. They wanted a review of the report and all of that. But the Speaker and then the majority, having the numbers, had to overrule that. And so one way or the other, they have all been approved. And so we now have all the 7 justices, getting into the Supreme Court. Now, Italy converts 70% Ghana debts to grants. That's also captured by the Daily Graphic this morning. MPP's flag bearer election timeline sparks controversy. Ayikoi Otu weighs in, and it's Daily Graphic this morning. At the back page, you can find some stories as well. Kids and Diabetes in Schools program launched, and stalled road projects due to debt. And that's also some stories you can read about. Away from that, let's get the Chronicle this morning. It says, Brian Champong, I will start with Almighty God and finish with him. And he's been to the clergy. He was in the church for prayers. And finally, officially, he's actually, spoken about his intention to be a part of the flag bearership race for the NPP. We'll find out some more in the coming days. 3 pillars of Brian Champong for Ghana's transformation. And that's captured by the Chronicle. Now, we want Educhum as NPP flag bearer. Kumasi traders tell delegates. Okay. Very interesting time ahead. You can read about it. The Chronicle is reporting on some of these issues. And at the back page, you've got some sports stories over there as well. The Daily Gist is here, and it says, Brian gives Kennedy showdown, seeks God's face. And the former MMDCEs run to Bahomia. And COVID-19 hits Legon campus. Away from that, Kofi Boakye hot, dragged to Supreme Court. That also on the front page of the Daily Gist. And Ada Chiefs back McDonald's Electrochem salt project. That's also captured by the Daily Gist. Now, let's get into Daily Analysts. On the front page, it says COVID-19, University of Ghana records suspected and confirmed cases. And the MPP flag bearer race, it's not just money, integrity counts. Oseche Mensa Bonsu fires Ken Japan. And Ken Mswati, the third of Swatini, arrives in Ghana for a 4-day tour visit. And I'm excited to have him here. Police warns public against fake recruitment scam. And Amio confused lawyers file motion to halt criminal trial. That's also the Daily Analyst this morning. Now, the Accra Times is here, and it says that World Bank UK support Parliament to build capacity of the MPs, and Clerk commends WB and EU government for developmental support to Parliament. NPA boss allays fears Ghana has enough fuel, and they said we have got about fuel that will last us about 3 months or so. And if we don't see the extension of this war that we're facing right now with Israel and Iran, which President Donald Trump is very, very, very mad about. Yesterday, he was forced to use the F word during a press conference. Well, not really a press conference, but he was moving out and reporters were asking him questions, and he was really, really livid to the point that he has to use the F word. And that has also been a conversation, why the president got so mad that he has to use the F word. Now, bring to enhance Parliament's oversight and capacity, Ayariga Athenyo marking loud WB UK facility, and GCMC to boost energy sector present its 2025 work plan to Parliament. And Ghana-US visa processing scandal. Principal actors accounts frozen at Black Hotels Parliament. That's the Accra Times this morning. Now, the last one for me is the Ghanaian Publisher. And on the front page, it says, Patrick Buama donates to GPCC. And restoring Songo Lagoon, Electrochem gets Ada Chiefs back and remove Kofi Boakye from Police Council, Businesswoman urges Supreme Court, NPP race, Bahomia pulls ahead. That's the Ghanaian Publisher on some issues of governance, developmental, societal issues this morning. You can read about it when you grab a copy, but don't forget, you can send your messages to us. Let us know what you think about our topic this morning. We're looking at illegal mining, the update on LI 2462, and if we're even ready, or we're at the point where we can all say that, well, this has gone through, and it's going to entirely stop people from mining in Forest Reserve. Now, joining me this morning, my brother is here, and so I want to introduce him, then we'll begin the conversation. Emmanuel Senyo is here with me this morning. Achu?
My brother.
Leke?
I'm a for like a one for now.
I penamau.
Akbar.
You get
like in your domia.
I'm a queer.
You got that, man.
Oh. I will confuse this man before he confuses me this morning. Anyway, and Senyo is good at languages, man. This man speaks Yoruba effortlessly, and it's not even funny. I mean, I envy you.
Honestly, I envy you. And you know why?
Okay, the 16 wives said, anyway, I've got none. That's what you should do. But I mean, I'm excited about this. And first of all, maybe we've gotten to a point where we've realized that there's a lot that is happening, a lot to unpack because of the MPP race and all of those things. I don't know where you stand, which party or not any candidate you're supporting and all of that. But so far, are you guys excited about what has happened in the last 2 weeks or so?
Well, KMJ, good morning to you and good morning to your cherished viewers. And let me use this opportunity or this platform to also wish my lovely people in the Volta region, particularly the good people of the New Patriotic Party, a very good morning this morning. More importantly, the youth commanders in the region, because they are actually the energizers of the party based in the respective constituencies. So a very good morning to them, including the leadership of the party. And before I start with what you said, let me read, because I believe that what I'm going to give will actually revolve around that.
Okay.
Numbers chapter 35, verse 33. And I read from the NIV Bible.
Okay.
And it says, do not pollute the land where you are. Bloodshed pollutes the land, and atonement cannot be made for the land on which blood has been shed, except by the blood of the one who shed it. This is the word of the Lord.
Amen.
I'm sure when we get to that place, we'll explain what that word is. Yes. Now, on the part of...
When was the last time you were in church, though?
I was in church on Sunday.
On Sunday, okay.
Why? Is it because I read the Bible? When was the last time you went to church?
I have no idea.
You have no idea. Great. I've always been in church.
I've got no idea.
Anyway, on the
God loves me. That's all I know.
God loves all of us. And don't forget,
He loves me better than any other
God is always with us. Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Yes.
And God loves me better than any. I know He loves me better than any other person. I'm telling you.
Anyway, that's nice. So on the part of what is happening, whether I like it, where do I stand, which camp do I belong to? I belong to the camp of the MPP.
Okay, but not any specific individual.
I belong to the camp of the MPP.
So anybody that becomes the flag bearer, you're good?
Anybody that becomes the flag bearer, we will support the person to see to it that...
Because we've got MPs, MMDCs, and even party executives taking sides, and that's the reason why I'm asking you. Because I'm going to be asking all the communicators as well.
Well, I think that what is happening is not the best, and I have seen a release yesterday from the party cautioning all those doing that. So I would want to believe that
do you think it's going to stop? Is there enough caution to stop anybody from doing what they...
Well, we are watching.
It looks very divided now.
We are watching, and I believe that they'll heed to the call. Yeah. I don't think that this is good for us, and it's good for our democracy, no. But like I said, we are MPP, and no matter the storm, we come together again. If you watch what happened yesterday, you realize that there were some meetings that happened yesterday to meet the front runners of this whole thing. So I believe that things will be better going forward, yeah.
There's a notion that this is becoming one of the biggest storms for the NPP. Looking at the fact that it came from an election that almost tore you apart. You know, there were reports of research reports that, you know, came out as to why you went through that period and how you can move forward. And when everybody thought that, okay, the party now has a report that has indicated why they lost the elections, badly, and they want to now come together in unity and make progress, all of a sudden there's a flag bearership race that seems to be dividing. Well, you don't think that it's from one storm to the other, and getting unity at this point will be very difficult?
I don't think that we are divided. In every democracy, you will definitely see some of these things happening. It happens everywhere. Just that I think that we need to manage it.
Okay.
We must call a spade a spade. Let's manage it in a way that it will not go overboard. And I think that for that reason, the leadership of the party sees the wisdom in issuing the statement that they've issued yesterday. And I want to believe that the party faithfuls, being good listeners, they will heed to the call. I'm surprised that you see Cortes is doing A, B, C, D. It's a good call that came yesterday, and I'm hoping that they will heed to that call. And then going forward, we'll have a smooth process throughout.
Okay. All right. So we're going to be moving on to our topic for today. We're looking at the dealing with illegal mining galamsey, like we all know. And we're looking at the most important thing, which is the repeal of the LI 2462. Now, this actually refers to the environmental protection mining in forest reserves regulations in 2022. It was enacted in 2022. And this allows mining activities within the forest reserves, provided specific environmental procedures that are supposed to be followed. Unfortunately, we've not seen that happening. Now, the regulation effectively actually overruled previous policies that made sure that there was a complete banning in the forest reserves. And it was very simple. It was to regulate outline procedures and also guidelines that mining companies must actually adhere to when operating within the forest reserves. But it has also the legal aspect of it, which is the regulation that is based on Section 62(1) of the Environmental Protection Agency Act 1994, Act 490. The controversy around this is this. Now, the passage of the LI 2462 has been met with criticisms and concerns from various stakeholders, including the Ghana Institute of Foresters, GIF. The GIF actually argued that the regulation allows unlimited mining in the forest reserves, even in ecologically sensitive areas, and that they were not adequately consulted during the drafting process. Implications of this is this. Effectively permits mining in all forest reserves in Ghana, provided the procedures outlined in the regulation are followed. But the question you want to be asking right now is, have we followed those regulations? If we have not followed them, what are the dangers that are involved? You and I know the situation of our water bodies right now. It's a no-brainer. If you ask anybody right now, they can tell you that the effect of what is happening right now is dire. But as a country, are we ready to ensure that we do the right thing so we don't find ourselves in the situation that we find ourselves right now? That's our conversation for this morning here on Newsflash. And again, you can send your messages to us. Our WhatsApp line is active. You can also do so on Facebook. We're streaming live on Facebook as well. Let me also quick to mention that I've been joined by this morning by the Media Relations Officer, Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, Kwesi Shandoff, is here with me as well. Bro, it's the longest.
Yeah, it's the longest.
You vanished into finger.
Life. Sometimes it happens.
I know, but it's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
How's it going?
Everything is okay.
All good? At the ministry as well?
Yeah, everything is okay.
Great stuff? Okay.
A lot. Just that, galamsey is a very controversial issue, so
Absolutely.
a lot of issues to discuss around it.
Great. All right, so you can also join us and send your messages to us. We'll also be joined by Godwin Mahama Ayaba. He's Corporate Affairs for External, Tema Oil Refinery and Government Communications. And a bit later, we'll be joined by a lawyer, Managing Associate Taylor Crab, in the person of Albert Ejipong. He's also going to be joining us via Zoom to share some thought with us. He's a lecturer at Aseshi University. He's also going to be joining us this morning. But first of all, let me start off with where do we sit right now in terms of LI 2462? What's the situation with it now?
Okay, so first off, as protocol demands, let me seize the opportunity to say a very good morning to our lovely listeners and, of course, to your very good self, coming from the auspices of the minister and the ministry at large. LI 2462 is indeed a very thorny issue in recent times because of the not just the debates around it, but because of what looks like a departure from what the NDC had stated during its time in opposition. But the reality of the matter and the truth, I mean, anybody who has bothered to examine or diagnose that particular law would agree that LI 2462 is a matter that typically sits with the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology, not necessarily the Ministry of Lands. And Natural Resources. And so the ministry, Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology, has taken note of all the raging concerns and the debates. And in due time, there would be appropriate and official communication. Indeed, the ministry has also noted the sentiments, because what was said back then was in the direction of an outright repeal. But as we speak, there's only a proposed amendment, and that looks like a bit of a disconnect. But heads are around the table, and the ministry would communicate the position, I mean, going on in a matter of days. So I think we can all wait for that. Yes, there's a reason I do not want to get into that particular subject, because like I'm saying, it doesn't sit with the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, even though the substance of that law is around mining.
Because your ministry is where the major issue is affected.
Except that we did not contemplate or construct that particular law. It sits with MEST, and so we still want to, by way of structure and hierarchy and appropriateness, we want to listen to MEST, and we'll take it up from there.
Great. The last time we saw the minister, not really the last time, but prior to that, we've had him at a press conference where he broke down. And a lot of people expected that after breaking down, maybe some drastic decisions will be taken in terms of fighting illegal mining. I don't know the interaction with the minister in the couple of weeks, before or even after that, and what he intends to do. He still has a very big issue on his table. Absolutely. How is he dealing with this?
He's dealing with it very effectively. Effectively in the sense that there are a raft of very crucial interventions that have been rolled out now. I'm sure as we progress in the course of the days, you would see some of them in manifest action. But if I have to take you through some of those interventions, one of them which I am particularly impressed about is the revision of the licensing regime, which really has been the main asset that facilitates this whole galamsey more practice. The revision of the licensing regimes. You would recall that when the new government took office, there was a mass revocation of licenses that had been previously issued. I mean, at the dying members of the administration, the erstwhile MPP administration. Beyond that massive revocation, as we speak, there is a committee that is currently supervising a revision of all existing mining licenses, because there are new protocols for mining. So if you were an illegal miner and you have not submitted your license for, to that forum for revision, you do not have the rights to, a small scale miner, you do not have the rights to, proceed and then continue.
And this is really adhered to?
Yes. And that is why yesterday, for instance, I'm sure you would have seen the story. The National Consent Association of Illegal Miners. Yesterday they staged a press conference.
Based people.
No, this is the small-scale miners themselves. Yesterday, they staged a press conference and they said that government is harassing them and government is not giving them the room to operate, despite the fact that they have licenses. And I had opportunity and cause to respond to them on a sister platform that it is not as if government is hounding them or coming after them, but the reality of the fact is that all licenses that were operational prior to now are now expired. You cannot operate with those ones except they have been reviewed by the committee that has been set for that matter. And so the reformation of the licensing regime is what really, it may not appear huge in the minds of so many. It may not look like a very combative mechanism. When you say you are reviewing licenses, what really are you doing? But that is what actually opens the door for mining activities to take place in the very first instance. So if we are revising it and we are setting stringent and stricter protocols, then clearly we are dealing decisively with the issue. Indeed, in that same vein, we also have formed the NIMOS, the National Anti-Illegal Mining and Mining Operations Secretariat. It would be outdoored properly very soon. And that is a combative team that goes to the ground to effect arrest and seizures. I'm not sure I have the full complement of the facts. Otherwise, I would have taken you through all the arrests that have taken place so far from last week. Last 3 weeks up to now.
Okay.
They've been doing a lot of work. So if it's about decisiveness and practicality, the minister is really working, and I'm sure that very soon we'll start seeing very impressive results. Indeed, we're already seeing them, but of course, there's always more.
The MPP disagree with that in terms of what you've been able to do so far. But before I move on to maybe I engage Senyo as well, any update on the water guards? What the yellow?
Oh, yeah.
Are they working?
Absolutely. Now, when they were first inaugurated, I monitored the public reaction. Their inauguration and outdooring was greeted with a lot of ridicule. People basically questioned their essence, arguing that, even if armed military men and police could not safeguard our water bodies, what can these ones do? But the reality of the matter is that they are not working in isolation or independently. Their efforts are being coordinated by the security, so they are not on their own accord. And per the last briefing that I had earlier this week, their presence alone is scaring off a lot of the... Yes, because like I said, they are not working in isolation. If they were working in isolation, then you could begin to question their impact, because then they would look like maybe just the two of us, ordinary civilians at post. But they are not ordinary civilians at post. They may be civilians, but of course they are backed by the relevant security agencies, even including the national security. So the efforts so far have been commendable, and that is why the areas they are guarding have not been encroached upon.
Is it a special reason why we don't get too much updates on what they are doing and what intelligence they are gathering? Because we believe that they are not going to be on the forefront to combat this. So they are, doing it from the back end. So is there a special reason why we're not getting updates on them? If I'm not asking that, I'm not sure anybody probably would have asked that. So we're all going to sleep because
absolutely, I get you, and it's a valid concern. Indeed, as much as they are working, it's important for us to put their efforts out.
Exactly.
So there's a special purpose vehicle that has been contemplated by the ministry. It is the GPR, the Galamsey Progress Report.
Okay.
I'm sure by next week we would launch and outdoor it properly. That would be the forum for highlighting the works of, those individuals, and indeed every other effort towards the combating of Galamsey. So we note that concern. Their works have to be out there. It should be something topical that is being discussed. And so it's just a matter of time. By next week, we'll outdoor the GPR, and then that will deal with that gap as we have it.
Very well. Patrick Steve, the Media Relations Officer for the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, giving us some update on what is happening with illegal mining and the combat from the minister's point of view. And so you can also do the same. Send your messages to us and let us know what you think about it. We're looking at the LI 2462, which of course we've all been asking that, it's repealed. Senyo, there's some updates. Looks like we're not doing bad at all.
KMJ, first and foremost, at a platform I get, I try to state my stand when it comes to the issue of Galamsey. Now, one key thing that we have to articulate very well is the fact that Galamsey must be discussed devoid of political lens or political colorization. That is one key thing I always take my position on. But unfortunately, we have allowed both parties to, colorize the issue of Galamsey, particularly the NDC. I'm saying this because of previous, occurrences prior to 2020 election and prior to 2024 election. One thing we have to understand is that we must come to terms that we have to treat Galamsey with the needed agency, because the effects are extremely real. The effects are super, super real. So we must treat it as urgent as it has to, devoid of political colorization and all of that. I was a bit surprised when I heard I don't know if it's the PR from the ministry.
Yeah, he's in charge of media relations. So.
And Shandov, I've been following him for a while now. He's a young, nice gentleman. and I have the platform with him today. But I was a bit surprised to hear that today the position of the government, because he speaks for government, and automatically I can't say that he's an NDC, he's speaking for the NDC government.
He speaks for the ministry.
He's speaking for the government. The NDC is the one that is in government. So I may say that he's speaking for the NDC government as far as the lands ministry is concerned.
He speaks for the government.
So what I want to say is that we have heard so many stories, so many bastardization with this LI 2462 issue and all of that. Today my brother sits here and he's telling us that it is no longer the work of the Ministry of Lands, but rather Ministry of Environment. Agreed. Then he again continued to say that the ministry is considering as to all the issues that are being raised to see how they can do these things.
Yeah, a few things they're putting together. They're even going to roll some of them in the coming weeks.
Exactly. Now, the question I ask is that what happened then prior to the 2024 elections? The flag bearer himself, who is the president today, he said that LI 2462 has to be repealed. Today, has the LI been repealed? Now, it is on record that there were 3 NDC MPs who at a point in time went to court to see to it that this LI is repealed. Are you aware of that? And that has to do with Honorable Suhini, Honorable Sosu, and Honorable Ablakwa. The question I ask is,
I don't think it's court really. They were filing a private member's motion.
Well, a private member motion, to repeal the. I agree. They introduced a private member's bill to repeal that section of the act. The question I ask is, what happens today? These were loud guys, especially Honorable Ablakwa Okujeto, Suhini, who has been in the 4th state realm those days before entering into the mainstream politics.
But they did that recently.
No. I hope you please just allow me. Let me finish.
Just put it down. What
just
is
take
that?
note.
You can
now
work it out for me.
Today they are all silent. None of them is talking. Then the question I ask is that the Galamsey song we've been singing, is it for the purposes of winning power, or it was just for the shenanigans, for just shaggy reasons? Okujeto sleep a zip. Today, he doesn't go to intercept documents again. He doesn't come to Parliament and write on his Facebook wall about Galamsey.
He has the Foreign Affairs Ministry responsible.
No, he has the Foreign Affairs Ministry. Our taxes, my tax is paying. My tax is even paying Shandoff. Yes, my money is paying Shandoff. So I have every single
more Galamsey than
I have every single right to talk, because this Galamsey issue is killing us. They claim that NPP did not do well. Agreed. That is why Ghanaians voted us out, knowing very well that you are the professors. So as professors, the Methuselahs and the rest, we expect you to know better. Again, we have Rashid Sofotanko computer. You know Rashid Sofotanko computer? The gentleman in the media with the fake in quote. He has also been on air this year, April 30th, that LI will be repealed. The LI 2462 will be repealed as soon as Parliament resumes. Were they playing with our minds? They keep. Today they say this, tomorrow they say another thing. Fast forward, the Gold Board CEO, of which my brother here wrote on his Facebook, what I think is the deputy PRO for the Gold Board as well, aside the Lancer of. Yes, he's a deputy PRO for Gold Board. He can confirm. You see, he's smiling. The guy is enjoying dollars.
He has the right to make.
He's enjoying dollars. That's why when you catch Charlie, you can see the fresh face. That's it on the lifetime.
That make him.
That's it on the lifetime. So you realize that the CEO for Gold Board, just this year, made a statement on April 23rd on Channel 1 TV that the LI 2462 will be revoked immediately Parliament reconvenes. The same thing applies to the government spokesperson, Felix Ofosu-Kwakye Honorable. He also indicated that the LI will be repealed. Then the next thing we are hearing is that the people are calling for amendment of the law. Then I ask myself, what is happening? Is it that we have now gotten to a point where the same people who called the Achim boys Sakawa boys have now upgraded to NDC Sakawa Promas? Because it seems to us that if they say A, the next thing you say is that they are doing B. When you ask me, the fight against Galamsey, much has not been done as far as the NDC is concerned. So far, they've introduced no more than 3 initiatives. And the question I ask is, how often are we going to continue to be talking about Galamsey, then this party comes and states its position, another party comes to state its position? Now, the Lands and Natural Resource Minister says that they have created what we call blue water guards, which I call them yellow security boys.
Perhaps you give some update on that as well.
Yes, that's why I have to hammer on
the things that they are.
They said blue water guards, but I call them the yellow security boys. Do you know why? The mandate of the blue water guards, I don't know why they are hiding it from the public. I am expecting that we should be having a quarterly report from the ministry what the blue water guards or the yellow security boys have done so far. They have done absolutely nothing. It is job for the boys.
They said they've put that together. They're going to be doing that in a couple of...
We are waiting for that. Probably that would stop me from saying that. But what I want you to understand is that the yellow security boys, where they term it as blue water guards, they are not doing anything different from what the NPP came to do. Do you know why?
Tell me.
When we came to power, we initiated some measures to mitigate this Galamsey issue. What were some of the measures that we actually put across? There was Operation Vanguard. There was community mining program that was instituted. There was Galam Stop. There was the use of technology. But you ask yourself, with the current government in place, has there been a deliberate attempt for continuity?
So you did all of these things and then enacted...
We did all of these things. We even did the river guards.
Enacted the law that we're seeking to...
Yes,
do right now?
of which at some point, some 3 members who are the 3 wise men felt that...
And so I'm sure you understand the gravity of what this allowing people to mine in forest reserve actually brought to the country.
Of course, it was because of the introduction of this
put all these measures together just to go and enact a law that will allow people to go into the forest to...
All these measures were put in place.
Do illegal Galamsey.
When there were, bastardization from all angles, then there was another measures that, okay, then let's put this LI in place. But in putting that LI, I'm coming. In putting that LI in place, hold on. In putting that LI in place, you realize that the LI did not achieve its purpose. People went overboard.
It actually gave us the biggest problem we're facing right now.
I agree with you.
It's the reason we're going...
I agree with you. I will not give you the particularization. I agree with you totally. But what I'm saying
but if you just oppose that to the measures you said you put in place...
I'm coming.
Then it means you did totally nothing.
Hold on. I am building a point.
Okay.
I am laying the foundation. Now, we introduced all of this.
Yeah.
The NDC said it was not enough. We did what we call river guards. I don't know if you are aware. There was river guard as one of armed mitigation measures.
I agree.
NDC said it was not enough. Then today, the Pope, the 3 wise men that are louder than the church members, they now go to the speaker that they want to introduce
private members, but today they are all silent, forgetting that today their party is now introducing yellow security boys who are actually doing nothing. Now, what is the mandate of these boys? After all the Operation Gallam Stop, Vanguard, and all of that, we've done that, the NDC felt that did not work enough, which I agree that much has not been achieved as far as Galamsey was concerned, or is concerned. Now, if all of these things were done and it wasn't achieved, one would have stopped that. Would have thought that we would have called for a proper measure in place, a proper forum where we put proper measures in place to see to it that we take views from people, which I believe that in our last manifesto, we outlined some of the measures we think that can put some of these things in place to stop. One of them was the community mining and the rest. But the NDC came, they said they don't like the community mining. But fast forward, apart from the blue water gas, I'm introducing something because it has to do with something. They said they were going to do, restoring forest reserves. Now,
they made some reclaims, about 7 of them.
Now, when you look at these 2 points, the blue water gas and then the restoring the forest reserves, KMJ, let's be very factual to ourselves. NDC so far, they have not introduced any new policy as far as Galamsey is concerned. The reason being that the water guard issue, it was the same thing we brought. What was the mandate of the water guard? The mandate of the water guard was to protect the water bodies, to prevent pollution and degradation of river streams and other water bodies.
And did they achieve that?
I'm coming, I'm building a point. Now, another thing was to see to it that there is a strong enforcement of environmental laws. There was also the need for these guards to combat illegal mining activities.
They achieved that?
All of these things were not achieved. If all these things were not achieved, and we were bastardized for it, today, the NDC come, and all they can do is for us to have a new paraphrasing, thinking that we have short memory. They now tell us that they now have what we call blue water guards. What is the paraphrasing? They have introduced blue because we have river water guards. The only thing they brought in is to introduce blue. Now, what is the difference? And what stops these people as of today? I have not heard any report anywhere that this is what the blue water guards have done and all of that. I think that the NDC should spare us their rhetorics and come to the table and let's do a bipartisan approach to this Galamsey issue. Okay. The restoring of forest reserves.
Yeah, wrap up for me. Let me take a few words.
Restoring of forest reserves is to see to it that we reclaim lands, we plant more trees. I think they have something called Tree for Life also, which they are doing.
It still happens.
Yes.
Every year we plant.
It is not different from it is not different from the Green Ghana we were doing. It is not different from the Green Ghana NPP was doing. So NDC.
But so if yours didn't achieve the targeted results, you want.
Ours didn't achieve.
They didn't also do it.
Hold on. In this case, I am not saying that they should not do it.
Because you have done it, they should.
We did not achieve.
Similar to that.
We did not. Hold on. We did not achieve.
So
you bastardized us for the same mistakes.
So you don't have to do it because
you don't have to repeat the same things we did. What is different from Tree for Life, which is the same as Green Ghana?
If they do the same thing and they get the results.
What result are we getting? What result have we got?
Yeah, but it doesn't stop.
The last time I have
be able to do it and get the results.
I have on daily occasion monitored every anti-Galamsey crusader to know the updates. One of the gentlemen I want to applaud this morning is one of your colleagues from your studio, Erastus. This whole Galamsey thing is deadly. Agree that both governments did their best, but we must speak against it, devoid of politics. I am approaching this because of the way the NDC approached it when they were in opposition. And truly, you realize that every single thing they said, coming to power, there's no different from what MPP did and what they are doing today.
Okay. All right,
it is just the same thing.
All right,
so I am calling that going forward, there is the need for transparency in the approach to the Galamsey fight. Recently, you saw what happened in one part of the Ashanti region, where the administrator for the Minerals Fund had to, at some point in time, write a petition to the Minister of Interior. I have not heard the update on that today. I am also waiting to see what the police commander will be doing, because that police commander who was obstructing the work of, an officer of the land must be dealt with. I think that Galamsey is going into an angle that you, him, myself must come to the table. Let's agree that, gentlemen, it is time we stop the politics.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Senyo. Let me get the thoughts of Bakwesi. He said a lot. I don't know which one you want to actually respond.
Yeah, he's actually said a lot, but if I were to summarize everything, I think that the sentiments may be valid, but they are hasty. Hasty in the sense that the erstwhile administration had 8 whole years to deal decisively with the menace of Galamsey. But towards the very tail end of their existence, we saw what happened. We saw how that the entire country was agitated because clearly there was visible non-performance. Then a new government comes into place, and in less than, I wouldn't even say 6 months, because the government machinery didn't start being fluid from January after the handing over process. Then in a matter of 5-6 months, if anybody is beginning to expect, very outstanding results, it's a bit hasty because, let's look at the periods. 8 whole years, we didn't see any meaningful results. Indeed, what we rather
I believe is the reason that the people kicked them out.
Absolutely. So now that a new dispensation has been installed, you have to not give them breathing space necessarily, but we have to be fair in the commentary, because for 8 whole years, what we had, like you were pointing out to him, was an ally which clearly, aggravated the issue. Yeah. There is a new government in place that is seeking to redefine the status quo and make the entire space better. And you want to, I don't know how to respond to it, you want to rather bastardize that government. I think it's a bit unfair, but I want to respond to a few specific issues. The matter of the blue water guards, he chooses to call them, he has a special...
The yellow boys.
The truth of the matter, like I've already said, is that they are working, right? Except that perhaps their efforts may not be out there, but there is a special purpose vehicle, the GPR, the Galamsey Progress Reports, that would attend to all of this by way of providing real-time information on what they are doing. He also spoke about...
Sorry about that. Do we still have the number of people that began the whole process in terms of the recruitment? We still have the same number?
I'm
asking because I'm looking at situations where some had to leave because maybe they were not paid or anything of the sort. Have we had any cause to worry about?
There has not been any development of that nature as of now, but by way of data, enrollment data, for that I would have to cross-check and supply the information. But he talks about community mining, how that the NDC has abandoned that aspect of the whole Galamsey conversation. That cannot be true. In fact, as I speak, just yesterday, the decision was firmed up as to the new vehicle that is being created to ensure, to provide alternative, livelihood for those in Galamsey, communities. The nature of that program is the Cooperative Mining and Skills Development Program, COMSDEP. What that will do is to significantly offer opportunities to those in Galamsey areas who want to, as it were, earn a living, have a means of livelihood, but don't have options, and therefore they resort to Galamsey. So that is the COMSDEP. What COMSDEP will do is basically simple. Gather, the locals, and then create a cooperative system and give them the required guidance to mine, but of course, in tandem with the strict protocols. He also goes ahead and says that, well, what we have seen in the past is not any different from what we are witnessing now. the most important ingredient where the fight against illegal mining is concerned is political will. For me, I do not even think it is so much about the policy propositions. If the political will is absent, you can contemplate and produce the finest of roadmaps and policies. But if you don't have the will to deal decisively with the issue, we would not go anywhere. As we speak, we've heard repeatedly the commitment of President John Dramani Mahama himself, the Secretary Minister, the Honorable Emmanuel Senyo. Consistently, they have reiterated their resolve to deal with the issue. Beyond the reiteration of their resolve, which some may think is passive, they are actually on the grounds with practical policies, so to speak. So if you compare, if you want to now draw a distinction between what we have seen in the past and what we are seeing now, it's just a matter of looking at the posture and the disposition. I do not want to remind us that once upon a time, the President of the Republic said that he was going to put his presidency on the line to deal decisively with illegal mining. Yet,
which they believe they did at the point because they even lost.
No, he himself has admitted that the fight was lost during their time. So if he himself has made that concession, nobody else has to pass a verdict on it. And I don't think he will depart from that. He said they started a lot, they saw nothing, and that is why he's agitated this morning because his government failed.
Who gave the opportunity to correct
exactly.
wrongs?
So that's the point I'm making. He himself has admitted that they failed.
But have you corrected the wrongs?
In 6 months, we are on a very progressive path in just 6 months because, for instance, we have revoked all existing mining licenses. So you don't have the right to go into any forest reserve to, as it were, engage in illegal mining. Maybe I have to bring you up to speed with this particular information. I think it's critical at this time. We have 288 forest reserves in the country. 44 of them have been besieged and impacted. Now, out of that 44, during their time, we had 9 which were designated as red spots. That is to say that those enclaves were encroached by armed men. 9 out of those, 9 out of the 44. Now in that 9, as I speak to you, 8 have been recovered within the period of
we understood that one of them was taken back again.
One is outstanding. Now that one is Desiree.
So we had about 7 of them.
Desiree, no, it is 8. Okay.
Yes, and that
it's 9.
Yeah,
8 were recovered.
And an update came that the one
that updated. That update is
one of them was taken back.
No, that update is not true. On record, this is just today is Wednesday, right?
Yep.
Today's Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Just 2 days ago.
Okay, so the update for 2 days.
The briefing that we had is still the same. So we have 8. We have 8. Okay, so 9, 8 have been retrieved. There's only 1, and that one is the Desiree Forest Reserve. The complication with Desiree has gotten to do with the fact that it's not only armed encroachers who have besieged that particular space. Indeed, we understand that some civilians are also within that terrain. So if you want to deploy any combative mechanism, you may end up attacking or inflicting some kind of discomfort on the civilians. And so that particular reserve...
But these are people who are destroying our water bodies.
A lot of... Exactly.
We can't take them head on.
Exactly.
If we have to.
Taking them
if
head
civilians are a part of it and it's destroying the lives of many other people, millions of people, you think that we can't take these people out?
We can.
Because we got to a point where people think that we have to be shooting.
No. That you see, we are not here to spill blood. We are here to preserve the environment.
But we're looking at people who are destroying the lives of over millions.
Absolutely, we do. We understand.
If you have about 100 community members destroying the lives of about how many?
Exactly.
33 million people.
We understand the gravity of the issue, but we are also careful not to aggravate it any further through any very combative mechanism. Indeed, there are a lot of. We normally say there are many ways to kill a cat. All right, shoots to kill is just out of the picture. It's not something the minister embraces. Nobody, embraces it in the very first place. Because if you were to do that, think about it. You entered, let's take Desiree, for instance, that we understand about 2,000, individuals are there, including, many of whom are civilians. If you began to shoot in that enclave, what do you think the story is going to look like? So there are a lot of...
it's for the greater good.
No.
At the end of the day.
No, it's not for the greater good.
You think so?
Because there are more...
These people are causing a lot of harm.
There are more pragmatic measures to get them out. And in fact, the operations are ongoing by 9 months.
Have we been successful with that?
By far.
Or we haven't started yet?
No, it's ongoing. The National
Forest.
Absolutely.
We've started
Absolutely.
that.
You see, I don't want to assign or attach any specific timelines, but in the not too distant future, we would have a 9 out of 9 situation. But let me bring us back to the comparison. So if 9 had been designated rest spots. As of now, we have retrieved 8 within which period? From January till now, plus a revision of the mining licenses as we speak. It would be very, very unfair and I don't want to say highly illogical, but it appears so. For anybody to say that the government is relaxed and being lackadaisical in the fight against illegal mining, you have to compare this duration to what we saw in 8 years, which he, sitting here, has confirmed was a complete failure. And I'm saying that verdict is enough. For the fact that he concedes conclusively that his government was poor, abysmal, and didn't do anything about the fight against illegal mining, I think we should now focus on the current measures that are being rolled out. Unless, of course, he wants to take back his verdict. But I don't think he wants to do that.
I think that verdict was past the context of you doing better than they have done. Right? He believed that if they didn't do anything,
you are the one offering the context to him. He said categorically
that you do better
Senyo,
than what the NPP
Senyo
did.
said categorically that he feels his government didn't do well, and that is why he has high expectations. I'm saying that extractively, then we can conclude that he himself believes that you failed the fight.
It is good that you are. That is your assumption, but that is not my position because what I said has a linkage. And it has a linkage because I said, based on what you did or your government did to us, then when they were in opposition, it tells that we did not perform.
Okay.
But you don't agree.
You are in the position to perform as you claim. So come and perform unless
you are in the position to perform because
and you're not seeing that performance.
It's just like
that's what you're saying.
Come on, I'm not seeing what the order they said. I'm not seeing it.
In a better position.
So they should now show us workers.
And you're not seeing that. That's what you're saying.
Like they should show us workers.
Are we comparing 8 years to 6 months?
No, you see, he said something.
Totally not.
He said something. He said it is unfair for 8 years to be compared to 6 months.
But that's true.
But no. I disagree totally with that.
No, technically.
Do you know why I'm saying that?
Senyo, you can't compare 8 years to 6 months. Technically.
Are you done?
Yes.
I disagree with him.
Okay.
And I'll tell you my reasons. I disagree with him because if you are saying that just in less than 6 months, MPP is bastardizing the current government on the issue of Galamsey, then what you are telling us is that we should keep our mouth shut and watch what you do. When we have their MP, the MP for our win, Honorable Labi, who is fronting Galamsey, I want to ask him, what has his sector minister done about that so far?
But that's an allegation.
Hold on.
I mean,
please hold on.
No, I think.
Hold on, please hold on.
You are impugning.
No, hold on. When I finish, whether it is allegation or the MP has the right to take me anywhere he wants to take me to.
But
I am certain that
you don't court disaffection for him in the court of public opinion. Let us say that he should.
I don't want to say this. Did you hear what he said?
No, but the point is that.
Repeat that.
Senyo, hold on.
Repeat that.
The point is that.
When they go and mount pressures and all of that, saying that this person is corrupt, that one is not public court of opinion. But I am saying that the traditional leaders
allegations that is
it is not an allegation. These are things that the traditional leaders in that area have come out to say. If he thinks that he is not doing it, he should come out and disassociate himself. An MP who was called on phone, your colleague from this studio, he has those audios. Those audios are out. The audios are out. He should disassociate himself that he, as Honorable Labi Oscar, he is not involved in Galamsey. We have the likes of these people, yet they'll go and sit there, take my tax, yet and be destroying the same forest, destroying the same land. Then water will come, kill me again. Then they'll be writing on walls that Gosu, rest in peace. The same people, NDC constituency chairman, are you aware that Honorable Ken Ashigbe?
I think we shouldn't go into the politics of blames because if we go there, it is
because of the tangent.
I didn't go.
When you go on a tangent,
I didn't go on a tangent.
We're doing this out of politics.
Yes,
you mentioned.
Yes, and I was
initially, give me a second. Initially, when he started his submissions, he mentioned that the matter must be approached divided.
Absolutely.
Now he comes back back, and then he's mentioning names. I don't want to indulge in that conversation because if we were to go on that tangent, then another person may also
The best thing
bring
you say is-
but we don't want to.
Who to me was
We don't want to go
You tell
there.
me that the report Watkins.
We don't. But why are you preempting what I was saying?
I am telling you
why are you preempting what I was saying?
The NDC constituency chairman from Azim and Dunkwa.
Senyo,
I am waiting to see what this government will do.
Okay,
If they can invite Wuntumi to CID and to Yoko, I am waiting to see what the leadership of the CID and then the Yoko will do to Honorable Oscar Labi.
Beyond that, you mentioned that you guys did better, and because it was not enough, or the people didn't see anything. That
no, he actually said they failed. I don't know why.
Stop putting words in my mouth. No. We did our best, but they felt that we have not done better.
And that's what
that
we
we
failed. You guys
failed.
out. That you failed.
Yes, they felt that we failed.
You brought the NPP.
You don't put words in my mouth. No, there's a life.
So you wanted to respond to this?
Yes, I'm saying that we should not go on the tangents of blaming specific individuals, because if we went on that trajectory, I may as well produce...
You also mention names of
and I think that is not important at this particular point. What is important is that we must now throw more light on what the Sector Minister, the Honorable Emmanuel Senyo, is doing now to resolve the issue and the commitment of President John Dramani Mahama in that particular respect. It's too early for Senyo to be... He looks aggrieved. I can understand. Because
I don't look aggrieved. I look aggrieved to you because you will not understand the position.
Senyo,
I was trying to go
the
through
devastation,
your wall to actually see your position last year during the Galamsey time. He has put some of them.
Oh, that is not true. That's not
He has put them down.
On this particular platform, I mean, I've been in this.
being honest to you.
I've been in the
all the neutrals today. Look where I'm at. There's something in their mouth.
This is not true. No,
I'm going to try to do some few messages.
You know, when you go to when you go to Nigeria, we have the Yoruba man who will see power and tell you that Ogami, Otide ama jẹun ni kò sí wàhálà, kò sí anybody ló máa sọ nǹkan sí bíbáyìí, la máa sọ fún pé attention.
It means what?
What it simply means to wait is that there is food in their mouth. They don't have problems. There is
I can produce my past commentaries on the matter to you. I mean, I've not hidden them. Why would I hide them? There's no point.
I'm going to those things are no longer there.
Okay, gentlemen, let me try and do some messages, and then we'll come back to the conversation. This one is from Sami Boache in Asamankas, and it says, now everybody in Ghana has noted how the NDC relied on propaganda and misinformation to secure power, especially concerning the fight against Galamsey. Now, they employed strong language against the NPP, and even their own leader, the then opposition leader, stated that the NPP-led Nana Addo had failed to address Galamsey and vowed to utilize AI instead. What is the current situation? Where are the media outlets opposing Galamsey? Where are the clergy, Sam George, Sami Jemfi, Akujeto Ablakwa, and their propagandists? Now, their supporters are openly engaging in Galamsey, seemingly without concern. In fact, the NDC appears to be failing in the fight against Galamsey. Regards to Thomas Ohineba Boache, the UK branch organizer, hopeful. Now, away from that, this one over here says that, good morning. Sometimes it hurts me when we always politicize issues. The NDC party made the politics out of the Galamsey issues, something which should have been a national issue. We pray for the best. Greetings to lawyer Justin Kodia, still in Maine, Daniel Opong, incoming youth organizer, Blakuma. And he goes on, he sends a few others, and let me see what I can do with that. He says, let's continue to work as a united Ghana. We have to be careful how we treat people when we are in government. Greetings to lawyer. Okay, good morning. Galamsey should be a national issue. I'm inviting you to the MPP Institute lounge today. Greetings to lawyer JFK. Okay, all right, you just go on with that. So let me come here. Says KMJ, I don't understand the MPP communicators. They are still doing what sent them to opposition. They should understand that Ghanaians now understand the issue far better than before. So they should stop the propaganda. How can you compare 8 years to 6 months? And that's from what inside us as a chair. Akonsi Gariba is here, and it says that The NDC administration is full of deception. Did the NDC administration repeal the LI to stop mining in the forest? Did the NDC administration provide funds for the headmasters in the senior high? Did the NDC administration provide senior high schools to buy their own food? Did the NDC administration ban all forms of mining in Ghana? Did the NDC administration stop renting private jets for government officials? Interestingly, Ghanaians have been deceived by the NDC, and the truth shall make Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia the next president of Ghana. So he came asking a lot of questions this morning, and all those questions directed to the NDC. And it says, good morning, sir. Ye shall not pollute the land where you are. Numbers 35:33. This is a cardinal sin against the from the onset.
So you know I'm a prophet.
Oh.
Yeah, back in secondary school, I was called prophet.
I was called bishop.
Okay, so he brings Numbers 35:3 to us again and says, against heaven and earth by NPP officials who made laws and issued over 2,000 licenses to destroy our forest and water bodies because party Hiasika. Please tell the NPP man to send a message to his party officials and let them apologize for their sins against the state. For the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. It's good to quote the Bible, but better to let the words of God reflect in their politics. All right, so that's for you, Senyo, for quoting the Bible verse this morning.
What does it say? What does it say?
It says that it's not giving you a verse. It says your sins will be leading you, will be following you, and all that. Good morning,
including the NDC.
Good morning, KJ. Please kindly tell the NPP man to keep quiet. When did he start talking against legal mining in this country? In their regime, they were arresting people who demonstrate against illegal mining. If today you people are in opposition and new government has taken over, you want the new government to stop Galamsey within 5 months, if possible. Why didn't you stop it in your 8 years in government? Please give us a break and keep mute over Galamsey issue. Okay.
That's what Shandov wants me to do. Because it's his man.
As one says, good morning, Royal Host. Greetings to my brother Shandov for a great presentation. In fact, the NDC reclaiming 8 out of the 9 forest reserves is a great achievement. Senyo can keep his elephant tactics. We in the NDC are focused on delivering good governance to the people of Ghana. E.A. Metu Nunu Jr. My brother, good morning to you. How are you doing? And
That's a long time away.
That's Metu for you. Metu has deserted me.
No, I'm doing it as landed some big appointment.
Oh no, I'm not sure about that. I would have known. The Galamsey menace we are battling today is a direct result of the reckless, corrupt, and visionless leadership of the ex-Akufo Addo government. Under their watch, illegal mining was not only tolerated but institutionalized. Galamsey kingpins were shielded. Party loyalists turned rivers into mud, and our forests were sacrificed for votes. Today, the NDC is left to clean up a mess created by a government that prioritized the power over the environment. The NDC is poised to restore sanity, not by slogans, but through decisive action and genuine leadership. Daniel Paliok from Santema sent in that one. Let me go to this one over here, and it says, Mahama and his NDC foot soldiers have taken over Galamsey business, and the situation has aggravated. This is from Big Joe. Let me go to the next one over here and see what we have. It says that I'm baffled by NDC communicators these days. Remember Shamima Muslim's cringe-worthy appearance on Newsfile last Saturday discussing Galamsey. I watched that. When in opposition, you guys were adamant that President Akufo Addo should declare a state of emergency to tackle the issue. Now, 6 months into your government and environment ministers are tearfully pleading on TV, your communicators are stalling for time, and national security is ironically being given mining concessions. Meanwhile, the president seems MIA on repealing LI 2462 to ban mining in forest reserves. Now, the situation's worsened under your watch. This hypocrisy stems from the lies and propaganda that catapulted you to power. Declaring a state of emergency isn't premature. It's a necessary step. Stop with the wordplay and take action to save our forests. Really, we shouldn't compare 8 years to 6 months. Really, Mr. Host, Brookman Anobel. Brookman, I know where you're going, but I really want to compare 8 years to 6 months, really. Let's be very, very, real with the issues. Even Senyo agrees that you can't compare.
Absolutely.
If you're telling me, Senyo, if you're telling me,
we can't compare 6 months to 8 years.
No. No,
when they came to power, they said they have their goodwill.
If you're talking about actions,
see, do you know
if
something?
you're talking about
my brother is even struggling to defend it. See,
but
there is nobody in NDC today who will come on set and be able to defend these things. It's good where I am.
What is there to defend?
Because I will bring.
What is there to defend?
You see,
a mess that has compounded.
When they went on demo,
hold on.
When they were in the street with placards, my brother, he was writing things on his wall. He has put all of them down today.
Oh, is that
that's not true. That's not true.
He has put that.
That's not true.
We'll get back. I'll already have your take.
That's not true.
Let me try and engage more. This one is from Gasti in Brekum. It says, KMJ, I tell you, this government has no clue of solving this Galamsey problem. They purposely came to power to destroy our water bodies because Mahama knew he has only one term. There's nothing today that when we say affects him a bit because he doesn't need our vote again. The Galamsey issue is worse today, but some journalists try hard to manage it as if something better is done than the previous government. Okay, very interesting comment over there. Good morning, KMJ. Was Senyo listening to himself when he was speaking? He just wasted the 20 minutes given to him. He kept repeating himself with the Blue Water Guard issue, and he mentioned Galam's Stop Vanguard, Water Guards, and the rest. He failed to tell us what they had achieved. NPP lost the Galamsey fight totally. They rather compounded the Galamsey, allowing people to mine in the forests and the rivers. Senyo went round, and said nothing. Chief Mahmoud in Nima sent in that one. Let me go to this one over here, and it says that, good morning, KMJ. It seems the NPP has created many problems that this country is facing now, but the same NPP is making U-turns to be attacking NDC on how they are not solving well the problems the NPP has created for the past 8 years. The NPP aggravated the pollution of our water bodies through the Galamsey, and they even brought the LI 2462, which they are now fighting the NDC over its repeal. But the question is, where were their brains at the time they brought this very regulation? FO Senyo, Konyo Lo, the greatest honorable Adam Abana and Mr. Wisdom Siare, they warning your man over there right now. That's supposed to be a warning, right?
That's supposed to be a warning. I'm sure it's good one.
Good morning, KMJ, your able panelists. Please, what's the NPP man talking about? Upon all their policies, what was their scorecard? And why is he crying foul in just 6 months of the NDC government? In fact, the NPP destroyed our forest and water bodies with impunity where they are so-called community mining. It's a shame for him to be struggling to fault the NDC. Please tell him that just as the economy and the prices are dropping first time in the history of our great country since I started voting in 1996, same thing shall be applied to the fight against illegal mining. Ask the NPP man how many licenses have the NDC government released for the past 6 months and compare that of Nanado last 3 months in government. In fact, these NPP folks are very shameless and saying the truth have eluded them. UK1 to be sent in that. Okay, let me go to the next one over here. It says, good morning, KMJ. We must not wait for this current government to spend 100 years before we hold them accountable for the Western Galamsey issues. Once the fight and the promises the NDC made to Ghanaians are not materializing, we must put them on their toes. Greetings to Mr. Rahman, Secretary for Damango constituency. And that's from Joe Bingi. Joe, I'm not taking that away from you. We have to, but some comparison if you want to make them right now. I'm sure Senyo yourself will disagree. It is what it is. Yeah, good morning. All allowances, food, water that the minority members received during the vetting of the Supreme Court justices must return back to the public because they have done cost 90 job from excuses themselves in approving the justices. They don't deserve anything for doing nothing. You don't have numbers, yet you are misbehaving. Majority done well by approving the justices. Honorable Mahama Yerga, you are amazing, and I am very happy you are from my region. May God bless you with that wisdom. Amen. Maybe I'll do a couple and then we'll move on to the conversation. Teacher Kojo says JDM was advised to stay away from the 2024 election to allow for a new candidate from the NDC to stand. That would have made the work less difficult for the NDC for 2 terms. Now, I can foresee the NDC losing in 2028 because whoever they choose cannot defeat Baumia. They can do all their propaganda and lies, but it will not work. Greetings to JFK, Chairman Ordinary. Okay. Let me do this last one and then we'll come back to the studio. Good morning, KMJ. I'm worried and surprised as a nation we are not able to stop illegal mining. How secure are we? I hope we are not telling the rest of the world something. Stephen Opoku in Saki, Bishoka. And on that Stephen note, maybe it's a good place to actually let Shandov come in with that. It looks like a lot of people believe that we'll not be able to. We're fighting a losing battle. It's not something that we can ever.
On the contrary, a lot of people believe that the likes of Senyo and all the other NPP critics are being hasty. I mean, if you were to aggregate the comments, you can see that there is the impression that in as much as, yes, there is an issue to be dealt with, we cannot afford to be hasty and just be criticizing as Senyo is doing. Again, you need to understand the enormity of the challenge that we have, the extent and depth of the current devastation. As of now, about 16% of our land reserves have been depleted, and that happened over an 8-year period. Again, it's bewildering. Why would anybody think that just after 5 months we are supposed to see the vegetative, cover back to its pristine nature? It cannot happen that way. And we are not saying that government should not be held accountable. Nobody is arguing or advancing the proposition that because the government is fairly new, therefore the voices of critics must be mute. The point we are making is that even if you want to criticize at all, there must be recourse to, first of all, the time. Secondly, there must also be recourse to the practical measures that are being rolled out. You have not had time to, I'm not sure you have even studied or apprised yourself with the policies that are being rolled out and the gains that have been chalked within this particular period. If that has not been done, this is very unfair for you to be pronouncing failure conclusively at this point, after 5 months, when you had 8 whole years. Indeed, it is after that 8 whole years that Ghanaians felt that, look, we have had enough now, let us oust you and install a new government. Then after 5 months, you are everywhere saying that government has failed, government has done X, Y, Z, when you know very well that, look, LI 2462, when was it enacted? November 2022.
Yeah.
It is this same LI that has now become the elephant in the room. The bone of contention was actually created by you. If you right now, vigorously sitting on TV is saying that the LI must be XYZ, blah, 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 and all of that, then it means you agree in principle that you should not have done it in the very first place. So if you agree in principle that you should not have done it in the very first place, a new government takes office and that government is working assiduously around the clock to stem the tide, it is really, really, really unfair. But again, let me seize the opportunity to convey the assurances of the sector minister to the millions of Ghanaians who are watching us this morning that the Honorable Emmanuel Senyo is not resting on his laurels. He's working assiduously around the clock. And in the determinable future, I think we'll all begin to see some of the very instructive results. And very soon, I'm sure Galamsey will be a thing of the past. The ills that were done by the NPP and Senyo and his ilk would all be duly rectified.
Okay. Senyo.
Yeah. It's good he comments and also tell us the number of things the minister is doing, because the minister is watching him. Because if he doesn't do well, he will be reshuffled. So it's good he's doing that to remind us that indeed he's here for his minister.
But is it not a fact? But is it not mere praises? Is it not
fast
a fact
forward.
that
he said that I should get myself abreast. He said I should get myself abreast with the policies that have been rolled out. I have been following this Galamsey canker for a while now, particularly with the NDC at the helms of affair. KMJ.
Yeah.
Let's call a spade a spade. NDC failed or has failed with this Galamsey fight. Of course, they are making attempts, but the attempt is not enough.
What do you want to see?
If you want to rate them on percentage basis, trust me, from after the election to date, the magnitude of destruction caused to our forest, come on, you can't compare that to, how do you call it, the 8 years? Of course, we have had other places that were destroyed and there is, but after the election to date, especially right after 7th January to date, come on, the number of destruction that
does he have data to support it? Because I want to give.
Because the letters of all.
Let me give you the data.
When you were speaking, I don't. No. The letters of all.
This one interjection.
The letters of all.
I think when we are talking about depths of devastation, it must be accompanied by data. From the time we took office up to now, if you are measuring the parcels of land that have been impacted, you are looking at about some 5,500 hectares of land. Now, that is equivalent to, I want us to imagine this in our minds.
So you are taking my time.
No, this is equivalent to 7,000. Just a second. Just a second. I mean, you are looking at about some 5,500 hectares of land, which is equivalent to some over 7,000 football pitches. In our mind's eye, let's imagine that Accra Sports Stadium. We are looking at some 7,500 of those being destroyed during your watch, under your term.
But you also understand the effect of this on our water bodies.
Absolutely.
You know the temerity of water right now.
Absolutely.
And you know it's increased.
Absolutely.
Great. And I'm sure that's where it's been the other point.
I mean, if it has increased, it is flowing from
because that is the direct effect of
but it is flowing. Where is it flowing from? It is flowing from the 5,500 hectares of land.
You know I'm also crazy. That's what pays you.
No, but I think we might.
But honestly speaking, I know that my brother is struggling to defend this because it is not easy to defend Galamsey, especially when you're in government. So what I want you to understand is that I'm saying that in terms of the distraction, you realize that the place that Erastus went the last time when he was busted together with his other colleagues, if I'm not lying, that should be Subinsu. Are you aware that the people have gone back to the place again? Yet you tell me here that the place has been reclaimed and all of that. The distraction there today is too much. I'm saying that enough has not been done when it comes to the issue of Galamsey. People claim that LI needs to be repealed. Today, you are in power. You have the numbers.
So now I just want to... I want to ask you just a question.
I'll let you do that.
You trumpeted all over with placards everywhere, got the international media to support you. We need to repeal this LI. Today you are in government. You have the numbers. Actually, your numbers here. Your numbers are tuning. The same numbers that you parade with to be passing fuel levy, the same numbers that you parade with to be approving judges or justices or whatever, use the same numbers to repeal the law. You will not accept it that you are failing, the thing is not working. You will sit here and be defending the thing that is not working. No, because stop it. I believe that you and I, we should come to the table and agree that both governments, we are trying our best, but it is not enough. The same things that NPP did is the same thing that you guys are doing. You have just paraphrased it.
Of course not.
You have just paraphrased it. There is nothing so new. The three initiatives that they have brought so far, the 3 for Life, restoring what? Restoring our forest reserves, the blue water gas. What is so new about this? Repeal the law. That is what we want. We are not talking about amendment. Didn't you know that we could have amendment when you were in opposition? Today, you think that you have the luxury of power. You think that there have been people who actually finance your campaign with Galamsey money. So you have the luxury to want to amend the law because if you repeal it, the people will not be able to recoup their money. No. I am begging my brother that please stop defending this canker. You and I should team up together. As me, I'll write to the minister that they should stop using my taxpayers' money to pay you because my money is paying you, but I'm not doing what I want you to do because as I'm paying you, you're also killing me softly.
Okay.
You see, when it comes to Ghana, I become so passionate because I feel that if one government couldn't do enough, you have the numbers. Just pull all the strings. I agree that it is a difficult task. But you have laid down the tools. That is why today, the same measurements that you gave you lay out in measuring the then government, the same measurement is being used at you today, and you don't want it to be done to you. And you're telling us that we should give you a bit of time. A bit of time for what? A bit of time for Ghanaians, more people to be dying, a bit of time for our lands to deteriorate, a bit of time for more money to be injected into Ghana water. Do you know that it is our money that is being used to, purify those water?
Okay.
Come on, let's stop this thing.
You see, this is the interesting bit. Okay, when you watch him passionately articulate about the ravages of illegal mining, how it is doing XYZ, how the NDC is failing, and all of that, there's only one question that comes to mind: the airline that he keeps screaming about. Who introduced it in November 2022? Who did that?
You keep saying that we introduced it.
The devastation that
they don't like us.
Hold on.
They voted against us. They brought your government to power. Why?
The very devastation that he's now complaining about. When did it happen? It was under your watch. And so you do not expect logically. I'm saying that again. In our mind's eye, I want us to imagine 7,500 football pitches that have been devastated. If you began a reclamation in the very first place, are you saying that you want the lands to be restored to their pristine nature in 6 months? No, it's not practicable. It cannot happen.
It takes a while.
That is why.
He said something. He said that there are some licenses that has been revoked. I want him to tell us how many licenses has been revoked and how many new licenses has been signed on from January 17th. Because as the spokesperson for the ministry, I expect that because this thing should be to the public.
All right, get that details for me. But let me go on Zoom. Lawyer Albert Japong is over there. He's the managing associate Taylor Crabb, law lecturer at Ashesi, joining us this morning as well. If you can hear me, Counsel, good morning. Hello, good morning. Can you hear me? Hello? Okay, I think I'm having difficulty with connecting with a lawyer. When I'm able to do so, I'll let you know.
Yes, so he can respond to
do we have details?
No, it's a matter of data and record. I mean, we can always assess it. But
have we issued any? Hold on. Relax. You want him to answer the question, so let him answer the question.
Here on this same platform, the multimedia group, if you would recall, I mean, before the transition, there was a data that was put out by the research desk about the number of
Kofi should be able to.
Yes, about the number of
But I wanted to know if we're we're having.
So this is what is happening at the moment. I am not sure. Perhaps you observed the demonstration yesterday by the small scale miners. Yeah. They were crying foul, even accusing the NDC of being unfair because their concern was that they supported the NDC, and so they do not understand why, after supporting the NDC, now a task force is being deployed to, as it were, harass them. That should tell you that the government is committed to the fight, regardless of who is involved. Hold on, I'm coming. Now, every license that previously existed, that gave room for anybody to venture into small-scale mining, if at the moment it has not come before the special committee that has been set to revise it is moot. It is inoperable. You cannot operate with that particular license. And I'm saying that it's a matter of...
We are paying you. You should know the figures.
No, hold on.
We are paying you. That is your point.
That is what he's trying to address.
So I'm saying this is a simplistic argument. It's a matter of data. We can always provide it. But I'm saying that all the licenses, the huge ones that you hurriedly issued...
How many were they? How many were they?
No, you should know the number.
How many? When you are the ministry, we have employed you, we are paying you with our money. You cannot give us the figures.
When you were on your way out of office, okay? When you're on your way out of office, the total number of licenses that you issued indiscriminately.
How many have you issued from January 7th to date? How many has the Minerals Commission issued from 7th January to date? How many has the Minerals
Commission? I think he's still not following the conversation.
What is the conversation?
Hold on.
I asked you the number of licenses revoked, and you were telling me the number we issued, and I'm also asking you, if you cannot tell me the number you revoked, how many have you issued from January 7th to date?
I think
this should be on top of your.
Hold on. I think you are not following the
I am following. I am in line.
The point I'm making is that as of now, there is a committee. Okay, what the committee is doing is basically a review of all existing licenses. Okay, it's a process, and that is why. Hold on.
I want you to agree that everything that you are doing, it is settings. Because if it is not settings, you people would have come to tell us that as at the time you issued that statement that licenses have been revoked, you would have told us that you have revoked 1,000 or 20,000 whatever licenses.
So no, if
you can't tell us the numbers, you come and tell. I want you to agree. You are not. I know you. I don't know, but I don't know you to be an NDC person. But as far as you sit here as a spokesperson for the government,
you want to agree to what exactly?
I'm not saying you should agree. I want him to tell us on this live show.
That is what he's trying to address.
The number of licenses that he said they've revoked licenses. How many have they revoked?
And again, he quickly asked me that if I'm talking about revoke, how many did we issue or the number we issue? And I'm asking him, how many have they issued from January 7 to date? Because as a PR for the Ministry of Lands, you should have every information, and this one, it should be something that should be at your fingertips.
But that's what he's saying, that it's a matter of data. It's a matter of data.
No, so you want to tell me that?
No, let him explain.
But are you aware that the ministry? Are you aware that the ministry or the Minerals Commission some time ago, few months ago, issued a statement that there have been licenses that has been revoked? Are you aware? Mm-hmm. Do you know the number?
That's why.
Do you know the number?
No, Senyo,
do you know the number?
Let him explain that.
KMJ, do you know the number?
Senyo, you're not helping the conversation.
The gentleman doesn't know the number.
No, you're not helping the conversation. You should let him explain it.
Okay,
but let me go.
Okay,
let me go.
Okay,
let me go and speak to the lawyer.
To us. We'll get the number from him.
Lawyer, good morning. If you can hear me. Hello.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think it's way better now. So there's been cause for us to actually look at the LI 2462. Unfortunately, we've not been able to. There's an amendment that is in process and all of that. Why is it so difficult for us to legally look at this from that perspective?
From what perspective, if you could clarify
from the legal point, why is it too difficult for the government to look at it from, the fact that if we're able to go through this process, we'll be able to save a lot of lives out there? In terms of the process we have to go through.
I think that a bit of historical context is required here. So after the bill was laid in 2022, it became law by a fraction of time. There were some protests by civil society. There were protests by general Ghanaians as a whole. So in the process leading up, in the period leading up to the election, the erstwhile New Patriotic Party government, Nana-led government, laid a bill actually repealing this particular bill. But because of the nature of the bill, it's an LI, it's a legislative instrument. It passes with time. So a certain amount of parliamentary sittings must occur. And if you recall, sometime late last year, just before the elections, Parliament was not sitting, there was a boycott. So as a result of that repeal did not go through. That repeal process, or that repeal LI, repealing the first LI, the controversial LI 2462, did not go through. And once Parliament's time ran out or expired, a new bill had to be relayed. Now, the understanding was the new government said initially that the new bill was going to also revoke the LI 2462. But I think upon further consideration, what the government decided to do was to amend the LI and take out what they thought was the most controversial part of the LI. But even with this amendment, the reason why, again, civil society and Ghanaians as a whole, you had the Ghana Academy of Arts and Science coming out to say, is that it does not address the root problem with the LI. And the root problem with the LI, if you look at the complaints that have come, have to do with questions of constitutionality. The constitutionality of the LI itself has to do with questions of legitimacy of the minister to enact that LI. Now, in regards to the constitutionality, the question or the complaint is that when you look into our constitution, specifically Article 269, when it comes to regulation of mineral resources, the constitution vests it in a particular executive body. It asks that we set up a minerals commission to regulate when it comes to our mineral resources. So you cannot, by an LI, purport to give such powers to the EPA. Because if you look at what the LI is doing, or if you look at what the effect of the LI is, essentially sanctioning or permitting mining activities, even though it tells you that go and get the mining minerals permits from Minerals Commission. It shouldn't be the minister responsible for the environment or the agency responsible for the environment that should be doing that. So it's those constitutional concerns that civil society and other Ghanaians are complaining and saying that the amendment is not enough because you've not addressed the larger elephant in the room, which is the legitimacy. And if today we allow the EPA to usurp the constitution and perform the functions laid out for Minerals Commission, we don't know what will come tomorrow. So in furtherance of rule of law, in order to ensure that there's consistency with the law, let us do what is there, right? And if we want to do this, let's do this discourse. Let's amend the law properly, and let's if we want to have mining in forests, let's go about it, but not use the LI process, to permit that when a power has been conferred on the Minerals Commission.
So there are two things involved here, amendment and then repeal. What's the understanding? If we amend it, it means what? If we're repealing it, it means what?
Okay, so a repeal is saying that you are taking the whole law away. So if you look through the LI, I think there are about 50 or so regulations in the LI. If you say you are repealing it, you are saying that this law is no longer part of our law. We can no longer enforce it. So there is no mining in forest reserve. Any law that would regulate mining in forest reserve directly if we repeal the LI. But if we amend it, we are saying that we are okay with the law as a whole, but there are parts of it that we don't agree. And in this case, it's the section regulation 3 that they are saying they don't agree with. So the regulation 3.2 in particular gives the president the power to, irrespective of certain areas that we said will not mine in, he can authorize in writing people to mine in that areas. That is what the amendment is. So they've amended, they've taken a part of the LI away, but the LI still continues to be part of our laws. So the parts that civil society complains about, the parts that the Ghana Academy of Arts and Science is complaining about, the parts that everyone is protesting about still form part of our law. It's still part of our law. It's just that regulation 3 has been taken away. So the distinction, to cut it short, between the repeal and the amendment is the repeal takes away the whole law. The amendment just takes away parts of the law or adds on to the law if we want to add on to it.
So looking at the situation, the explanation you're giving us, the one that would help us deal drastically with the situation we're faced with in terms of illegal mining and its effects is repealing it.
So
or we can still amend it and still make some sense out of it, or save the situation we found ourselves in.
So I think that the LI does not necessarily address illegal mining, because if there's a law, it's not illegal mining, it's legal mining. I think the concern with the LI is where the legal mining is taking place, which is forest reserves. So I think the call for civil society, the coalition, is that we don't want mining to go on in our forest reserves at all. Let's not legitimize it, because if without this LI, such mining becomes illegal mining. What this LI does is it authorizes and it becomes legal mining. But we also don't want it because we want to conserve our forest resources, and we know that a number of the forests, particularly the Tiwa forest, is the water mouth. It's the mouth for a number of our water bodies. So we don't want mining at all. So what would help us as a country in terms of preservation of our forest stock and our forest resources is to repeal the law completely, so that there's no legal basis. And then that's if you are mining in forest reserves, then you are doing what we call illegal mining, or popularly called galamsey, and you can get arrested and prosecuted in accordance. So what would help us is the repeal of the law, not just the amendments.
From what you said, Council, before you go, do you think that we have a long battle in terms of this repealing of the law?
I think so, because just last Thursday, the amendments passed. And if you look at good governance and proper order, it would be very difficult for the executive again to go back to Parliament and say, you know what, we got it wrong with this amendment, let us repeal. It's the political ramifications are huge. Legally, it's a matter of laying it before Parliament and letting the 21 sit-ins go. But whether there's that political will to do the repeal after everything that has gone on, that is where the challenge is, in my opinion.
It's always been the political will. Lawyer, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I appreciate your time here on the show.
You're welcome.
Great. And that's lawyer Albert Japong, Managing Associate Taylor Crabb. He's a lawyer and a lecturer at Ashesi University, joining us this morning here on the show as well. Now, you're wrapping up comments and then we're done. I think that we've got about 5 minutes to do this. So let me start off with you.
In wrapping up, I did indicate that the statistical data I was looking for is something that is easily retrievable. Okay? The fact that perhaps nobody can immediately provide it doesn't mean that work has
not been done.
But you see, I have even bothered myself to feed him the facts that he was screaming about. So, Senyo, between 2017 to January, the 6th of January, a total of about 2,037. Look at, and that is the highest in our history. The Joy News Desk did the research. You can look for it. A total of 2,037 mining licenses were issued. That is the largest. In our history. Now, after you lost the 2024 general election, 102 were issued. Just after losing the election. And all of those, that's the point I was making, that all of those have subsequently been revoked. Where we are now is in the frame of revision. Every existing mining license right now is being reviewed we are testing it against the newly prescribed protocols. If it does not fall in line, of course, you would not have the access to go ahead.
Okay, you have the license.
And so that work is ongoing, and the data, I mean, the updated data would definitely be put out in due course. But just by way of conclusion, I want to seize the opportunity to say that government is working assiduously around the clock to make sure that illegal mining becomes a thing of the past. And the most important ingredient that is needed to clamp down on the excesses of illegal mining is the political will. Thankfully, we are seeing it abundantly manifest in His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. The Sector Minister, the Honorable Emmanuel Senyo, is also not resting on his laurels. Is every day up and doing and rolling out policies to deal decisively with the menace. So for Ghanaians who are concerned, just like myself, indeed, we agree that, yes, the extent of devastation may be severe, but the anomaly that had been created over an 8-year period cannot be immediately rectified within a very short duration. Nonetheless, we are working and we'll see very tangible results soon. Indeed, there are results as of now, but we'll see the full picture of the good works in the not too distant future.
All right, very well. Thank you. Senyo.
Yeah, thank you. KMJ.
Yeah.
They said we have issued from 2017 to 2024, we have issued over 2,037.
Yeah.
That's good.
In December, you did almost about 100.
But I am surprised that between 2012 to 2016, their government then issued 1,300 licenses. And you want to compare that to, this is just 4 years, you want to compare that to 8 years. So let's not talk about the number of licenses that were issued. We are talking about how many has been revoked so far.
What is the validity of that data? Where is it coming from?
It is, you can get to the Minerals Commission. I am getting my data from a very reliable source. So you can.
It is not the case. I mean,
when you said yours, I did not.
No, in the publication.
No.
So Joy did an independent.
Where did you also get your data from? Where did you get your data from?
I am coming.
Where did you get your data from?
So what?
Don't do that. When you said yours, I never objected to it. I had a very reliable source where I got my data from. So you don't object to what I said.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Go with the reliable source.
Thank you. So I'm saying that if you want us to deal with this whole canker, that he's finding it very difficult to defend, we should stop the ranting of adding political colorization to it and come to the table and agree that going forward, in terms of small-scale mining, there is the need for us to have the Geological Survey Authority in place that will provide data for miners to know exactly where to mine, not to do try and error thing.
Well, that's already in place.
Please allow me to land. Allow me to land.
Go ahead,
that is already in place, your MP, your NDC constituency chairman will not go and be jostling for Galamsey, be destroying the lands. I am saying that they should provide us with data. I am saying that there should be a deliberate attempt by government creating a fund so that by way of retooling the people in that industry, we can be able to have proper mining put in place.
Okay.
Again, just as
that's the last
just
point
as
for me,
we said in our manifesto, we said that there is the need for us to create minerals bank development so that we can be able to finance those who are doing the small-scale mining. So for me, let's take off the party colorization thing and approach the issue head on.
Okay.
And I believe that together we'll achieve results.
Okay, very well, thank you. Nawumba Matthew says, good morning, KMJ and your panelists there. Greetings to my Honorable Dr. Anaba MP Fukuno. President Mahama is winning the heart of all Ghanaians. I think they allow the government to perform and stop their the NPP top-down approach of franchising their good party members and imposing someone with a dream of theories will rather crack their party by next year. This is Winnie Matthew from Upper region. Now, Amoko just says that, Good morning, Mr. Host and your panel. The MPP man in your studio has no moral right to talk about Galamsey simply because
he has a moral right to
sat
write
unconcerned for
he has a moral right to be tested.
We know through Professor Frimpongwa's report that Galamsey was free for all enterprise under the award simply because party Hiensika. Numerous key party folks were implicated in the report, including people working at the Jubilee House. The MPP has no credibility to be lecturing us on the fight against Galamsey from Amukojo and in Nkranza South. Leplim says, good morning, KMJ. Please extend my women's greetings to Senyo, the Volta Regional Youth Organizer Hopeful. I would like to emphasize that both the NDC and MPP have failed to effectively address the issue of illegal mining. However, I believe the NPP has shown more seriousness in combating Galamsey, with President Akufo-Addo implementing various initiatives to tackle the problem. Some of the NPP's efforts include, and they list all of them over there. Because of time, I won't be able to run through all of that. But Abato says that the MPP is in its current state largely because of the actions of some of its big works. Your decision to push for an early Congress was a strategic move to gang up against other candidates and give an unfair advantage to Dr. Baumia. But the question is, what proper fact-finding or retrospection has been done after the party's embarrassing defeat in 2024? A serious political party wouldn't rush into an early Congress. All right, so those are your messages this
Let me use
morning.
the opportunity to invite you to our party school that we are launching today.
Today, right, yeah. I'll be there.
Yeah,
I'll be there. Is it the Dankwa Institute that we're branding it into that?
No, that's the party school.
Oh, okay.
Patriotic Institute.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure my boss, I've seen a flyer going, and Nanabe will be in the...
Yeah, you'll be in the studio this morning.
Yeah, so I'm sure.
I thought once upon a time you said the idea of creating party schools was irrelevant. Have you?
Are you now an NDC man? Because I know you to be a journalist.
No, I am.
Okay, so that'll be our conversation this morning on the show. And let me remind you. Let me remind you that we have the Impact Makers, the grand finale happening on the 28th of July. This weekend, we're going to be rewarding those people that you voted for, those you believe that have done tremendously well in their communities. So please do well and be a part of it. It's this Saturday. We're going to have all of those people rewarded as they're supposed to be rewarded. And so please do well and follow it. It's Impact Makers. And also, Big Chef comes up at 4 p.m. on Sundays. Make sure you tune in. This one says, a happy blessed birthday to Senyo Homes in Chandler, Arizona, USA, and it's coming from Nana Bedide. It says, may all your dreams become realities. And so it's going out to you again. Happy birthday to you, Sonia Holmes in Chandler, Arizona, USA.